So, what was about We Carry made you want to tell that story?
Well, I first met the family when I was covering the migrant caravan as a journalist in 2018, and I became really close to the family when I was covering their story crossing Mexico. And when there was a big plot twist in their story and they end up essentially in a mansion while they're waiting for their asylum hearing, I thought there was an opportunity to cover the topic not just about fleeing and violence, but also about healing and this finding community in an unexpected place, which I think is a part of the story that we need.
Yeah, and I feel like the immigration story, and especially in the United States, is always about the other side of it. It's not saying what it does for the immigrants and what it does for us, the American citizens. It helps us.
Exactly. There's so much focus on the border, which is important, and there's so much focus on tragedy, but there's also a lot of joy and a lot of opportunity, and we try to really balance the two things together in our film.
In your research, was anything that really surprised you? Something like, I did not know this.
I mean, the experience of being detained in the U.S. is something I didn't know a lot about, and something that's really surprising that most people don't know is that the experience, depending where you are in the country, where you end up by luck or bad luck of the draw being detained while you're waiting for your asylum hearing or released, could drastically change the outcome. So someone with the same asylum case might be denied if they end up in a detention center in Louisiana versus if they end up in a detention center here in San Diego, which is where one of the members of our the family that we followed was, and then they were released and able to go to Seattle.
I did not know that. Okay, you're also an educator, though. What are that? Yeah, yeah. So, how is that? What is the process for you? How do you enjoy teaching? What is your favorite part of that?
So I started an education nonprofit with a friend actually when I was in high school, so many years ago, and we ran it for 5 years together. Well, 5 years in college and then another 5 years, so 10 years total. And my favorite part about that was storytelling. And that's why I switched my education to becoming a journalist and then a filmmaker, because we had this saying, which I think, I don't remember who said this originally, it wasn't us, but you can't hate anyone whose story you know. So that was really important to us when we were creating this curriculum about empathy, education, and connecting students all over the world to share each other's stories. And so and then now, as a professional storyteller, I definitely have an educator's lens in the editing room and making sure, does this all make sense? Are we able to follow it? But of course, with a strong priority on tugging on people's heartstrings throughout.